So this is the very first question that I'm going to ask to you is about, yeah, I saw one of your videos, your YouTube video. It was you described one of your incident, like your mom's funeral. So from that, I thought I should ask one question which came to my mind and it just hit me. So that is particularly that from where did you gain that courage? That courage, like after 4 days of your mother's death, you had your first hand washing and sanitizing talk, right?
Mhm.
So from where did you get that courage?
Uh, I don't know where I got that courage from, but I guess I think two things. First, you need courage, of course. You need that determination, that grit from within you. There should be like a calling from within that inspires you to do something at a time like that, at a crisis point of your life and the worst time of my life ever. And to back you up, like to back that courage up, I think you also need some skills that can give you that confidence that no, I indeed can do it. And I think for me, I was at a point of advantage in the sense that before starting Awareness 360 or before becoming like a WASH activist or whatever you call it, like, had experience prior to that of doing volunteering work, community service, organizing projects, and things like that. So because I had those skills in me, I knew that it is indeed possible. Like I have done that before. So I think I didn't have to worry about how will I do it or how will I manage stuff. So part was already set because I started volunteering at a very young age when I was about 13 years old. So that part is there. Now, when it comes to courage, during that time, I was actually like 14th of April 2014. That time was the World Global Youth Service Day. Global Youth Service Day. So I was about to do a project. So I had, in terms of resources, in terms of support, there is this organization that I was part of. I'm an alumna of that organization, of that association, and I received, the logistical support from them. So I didn't have to worry about that either. But I guess the biggest issue was that courage that you questioned, that where did I get it from? And what really the thought process that I had going in me is that, like people told me that you take some break, you need to like concentrate on what's going on in your life right now, like pray for your mother and things like that. But I was continuously questioning why diarrhea, why my mom, why me? Like I was asking those questions, but at the same time, I was also thinking that the pain that I was going through at the time, I don't want to waste. And if I waste like one more day, if I do that same project like a day later or two, nothing's gonna happen. Like, seemingly nothing is gonna happen. No one is gonna come and tell me that, why did you do the project 2 days late? But I just felt that I didn't want anybody else to suffer, to go through that same pain for even a second more than I did. So that is, I think, really where I gained that courage from, that no matter what, I'm going to do it like now, like right now. So yeah, and as I said, like I already had that previous experiences and those skills, which I think gave me that confidence that I can indeed do it.
Great, great. It's actually inspiring, like whoever will see this video, it's absolutely inspiring. Your struggles is admiring, like I really admire you for this.
Thank you. You're too sweet.
Okay, so the next question is, I know there are some times when everybody gets tired of the situation they are in. So in that point of time, what do you do to boost yourself?
Uh, it's true that I do face those kind of like overwhelming circumstances a lot when I just feel like I can't push myself any further. This is it. Like I don't know what else to do. I have to stop. And it happens quite a lot actually, because I'm someone who who likes to work hard, and I also can't say no to people that much. So I take too much on my plate majority of the time. So this is something I'm still like struggling to navigate. But there are times when I just absolutely can't. And that's the time when I sort of surrender to myself and just, like tell myself that it is okay to not feel okay all the time. It is okay to not feel on top of the world all the time. And if I don't take care of myself at this point, like I sometimes force myself, and sometimes my team forces myself to take a break, so that I can just focus on my health and well-being and proper rest, both physical and mental. When like times when I don't have to worry about any deadlines, when I don't have to worry about projects, because when it comes to, leaders and change makers and activists and this kind of terms, when you associate with yourself, sometimes there is this burden of expectation of other people that you'll always have to be inspiring. You'll always have to say positive stuff. So sometimes we forget to take care of our own self. So I just sort of remind myself that if I don't take a break now, if I don't take care of myself, then in the long run, it is going to impact my own work. So the very root cause that I'm championing for, that is going to be affected if I don't take care of myself. So that's sort of how I think I try to, manage my emotions, but I don't do a good job at it. I'm still struggling with that.
It's okay. It's fine. Like, it's the starting of your career, I guess. So it will take time and it will get better. And what I like noticed that your team members are very much supportive, I guess, right?
Absolutely. Yes, I'm very blessed to have them.
That's great. Like, team members means a lot to like a particular person also. Great.
100%. Yes.
Okay, so next question. Is this what you wanted from your childhood, or there was something else, or some more dreams or aims you had?
By this, you mean like being an activist and working in the water, sanitation, hygiene space, right? No, definitely not. I didn't even know there is a term that's called WASH. I had no idea about activism and all these words at all. And when I was young, like my career plan, like we used to write like essays on like what do you want to be when you grow up, and in the very beginning, I wanted to be a school teacher of my own school. And then I wanted to be an architect and then an engineer. So, I mean, it continuously changed. At one point, I wanted to be a fashion designer after watching an interview of a famous fashion designer from the country. So, yeah, it continuously evolved. But I mean, finally, when I was actually at the time when I had to decide on a career path, especially when I was, taking admissions to different college, that's the time when I wanted to be an engineer. So activism, no, not at all. Even though I did used to work like volunteering and all that, but I never thought that this would be my career or I would pursue a career in the development sector. I actually wanted to be an engineer because I love maths. Maths is my favorite subject still now. So yeah, I just wanted to go towards a different career path, and I never foresee myself here.
Gosh, so this is a drastic change of your like career point of view, right?
Drastic yeah, for sure. Because I never thought about coming to this path.
It's fine. I didn't thought of like this kind of answer. I thought that there would be chances like you wanted to become like your mother or father. Your father, you're like going with him.
No, not really. I mean, I did take inspiration from them, and I always thought that, giving back to the society, you don't necessarily have to take this as a career, in order to, do good stuff. So I never thought that I would pursue a career in this space. But yeah, and now here I am.
Things change, and you never know that what's gonna happen next.
Exactly.
It's okay. So the next question is, as you know that COVID-19 was all about sanitation, cleanliness, and the social distancing part. So this is what you do basically. So like, in what kind it helped you, and like the people started like using these things, the masks, the sanitizers. So do you think that people will keep on doing this? Like, will they continue this?
Right. So the impact of COVID-19 has been twofold for us, for me personally, as well as like Awareness 360 wise. So one thing is, it is really very embarrassing to even think that we needed a we needed a pandemic to make us realize the importance of hand washing and
right.
sanitation and hygiene and so on. So that's definitely a shameful thing to even think about. But again, on the positive side of things, it is good that finally and hopefully people did realize the importance of it, and they're actually practicing it, which is great. But it also comes with a different worry. Like even though hopefully governments and world leaders and decision makers, they did realize the importance of sanitation and hygiene, especially during COVID-19, but yet we have seen a cut in the funding of the wash sector. So again, that's shocking, because we didn't realize that there would be an investment cut in the wash space globally. So there is a worry that whether our world leaders will take this learning and actually it will be reflected in their future decisions. That's one, from like the policy side of things. And from like general public side of things, we worry that people now associate hand washing only with the pandemic, only with COVID-19. So once we go back to normal, once pandemic is over, hopefully soon, people will forget about all of this and they will not continue their best practices, because they will think, oh, COVID is over, so I don't have to wash my hands anymore. So it's important to continue our work, to continue advocating that hand hygiene and all these best practices that we picked up during this pandemic needs to be continued, because it's not just the pandemic that you wash your hands for or against. You have to wash your hands regardless there is a pandemic or not. So for like other diseases, like just to be safe and healthy, we need to continue these best practices.
Right. So this was what I was expecting from you. Like, we, the third world countries, are not even habituated of the sanitation works, right? So yeah, well,
yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, so you have talked about that sex workers, about the sanitation. So do you think that in third world countries like Bangladesh and India, sex workers will give it importance and or not? Like, and if they did give importance to it, then will they be able to like afford it?
Right. It's the harsh reality that we have seen as we have worked with the sex workers community here, that first of all, they don't have access to education, right? They don't have access to that awareness, like the very basic awareness. So they don't realize the significance of investing in their own health in terms of water, sanitation, hygiene, etc. So that's one. But even if we do the part of making them realize the importance of it, let's say now people, pretty much everyone understands why it's important to wash our hands, right? So that's a good thing. But can they afford it? On your second question, unfortunately, no, because this is a luxury for them. Unfortunately, it's a privilege. Having access to, they can only wash their hands when they can afford a bar of soap, or when they have access to clean water. But unfortunately, a lot of them don't have it. Majority of them don't have it. So they live in extremely unhygienic condition. Even like COVID-19, it has posed a great threat to them in terms of, we're talking about social distancing, but they live in such confined places. There is simply no way. It is just not scientifically possible for them to maintain social distancing when it's a large number of people living in such a confined place. So it's sort of an unfair demand from us to them to even maintain those practices. So I think it's important to give them that visibility. So I think that's where our work comes into play, that yes, even though we don't have the capacity to provide water and hygiene materials to all of them like all the time, this is where I think our role sort of comes into play, where we at least shed a spotlight on them, showing why it's important, because they are most of the time forgotten. 90% of the sex workers in Bangladesh are victims of human trafficking. They didn't sign up for this, yet they're stuck there for life. So I think it's important for us to, of course, raise awareness, but also at the same time, shedding a spotlight and highlighting the need to invest in their sanitation and hygiene facilities. And that has to come from the top for sure.
Right. So like basically I have seen these things, so I was just eager to ask you the same. Okay. So the next question is like what are your future master plans or agendas that you're gonna execute?
Future master plan. Well, honestly, I don't have any like super long-term plan, because I'm really like, especially after the pandemic, we are living in such an uncertain time that I'm literally like going by day, you know, like as long as you live today, that's great, and then you think about tomorrow when it comes to tomorrow. But yeah, I guess like personally, I to continue my studies. So right now I'm doing my master's. So I want to enroll myself into hopefully a PhD program once I'm done with this master's program. And then career-wise, I see myself at the policy space. So that's why I wanted to study, you know, how policy is made, what are the thought process behind these things, and what works, what doesn't work, things like that. So once I sort of have that kind of theoretical knowledge and background, I want to step into the space of policy making, because as an advocate, I have seen the importance and the role that policymakers play and the power that they possess. So I want to get there so that I can make the right policies and implement them. In terms of awareness 360, we definitely want to continue what we are already doing. So we want to expand our work to more communities, more countries, you know, empower more young people, definitely that. But just in the very recent present, maybe like right after COVID, we want to continue advocating for that whole, you know, the worry that I just shared with you, where, you know, we don't want people to forget about hand washing once the COVID is over. So we want to continue those advocacy as well.
Great. So after like listening to you in this 20 minutes, my questions are over here, and I would really like to like thank you for coming here, for accepting our proposal. We really mean your precious time. Your precious time is precious for us too. So thank you so much for coming. It was a wonderful session. I mean, like the whole thing.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting.
The whole thing, your struggles, your experience means a lot to us, and it will mean a lot to like everybody who will see this in our website, in our Instagram handle, and I really admire you. Yeah, doing a great job.
Thank you so much. You guys are doing a great job. So I want to congratulate you on that as well. And thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, and all the very best for your future. Hope to see you soon.
Same to you. Same to you.
Okay, so
bye.
I'm gonna end this meeting. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
See you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
You too.